So you've spent several seasons in your singleness. You sat at the feet of Jesus. You've done the hard work. You've surrendered the pain, and you've allowed God to make you whole again. And now, sis, you're ready. You're ready to step back out there. You're ready to open your heart again and embrace the possibility of love. If this sounds like you, it's time to put on your Inspector Gadget hat, because I want to teach you 5 key things that you must examine when navigating new relationships after narcissistic abuse. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sherry. I'm a prophetic mentor and coach. And here on my channel, we dive into healing and rebuilding in your singleness the King's way after narcissistic abuse. So if you're ready to step into wholeness and wisdom in this season, you are in the right place. So let's jump into it. One of the most common things that I hear from survivors is that they have no desire to enter into another relationship. And many don't even have a solid, trusted circle of friends. Some have spent years healing and truly feel content in their singleness. Yet deep down, there's still some fear. There's fear of opening up again, fear of falling into the hands of another narcissist. There's just fear everywhere. Their emotions are all over the place. Then you have those that want to move forward, but they just struggle to trust themselves. No matter how much healing they've done, they still question their own discernment. And they wonder if they're going to miss the red flags again. Because let's be real, narcissistic abuse doesn't just make you cautious about other people. It makes you second guess yourself. It'll have you out here questioning every decision. It'll have you hesitating to let anybody in. And before you know it, you find yourself out here walking and doing life by yourself. Because isolation feels safer than risking another betrayal. And trust me, I get it. I am an introvert, maybe an ambivert, maybe just, I don't even know. I think I'm an introvert. But I've learned that we weren't created to do life by ourselves. See, the Bible says that it's not good for man to be alone. And I believe that applies to both men and women. Guys, we were designed for connection, for relationships and community. But how do you navigate relationships after everything you've been through? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today, because Jesus himself said that you will know them by their suit. No, he didn't say that. He said you will know them by their fruit. So these 5 things that we're going to talk about today are not just the 5 things I want you to focus on, but these are the 5 things we're talking about today. And I want to be clear that these are 5 things you need to be looking for in a potential friendship. Because honestly, you can't do romantic relationship without friendship. I don't know how they're doing it these days in the culture. Well, I do know how they're doing it, and it ain't the right way. Okay?
For fun, I like to travel a lot. I like to stamp my passport. I'm very adventurous, skydiving, jet skiing, whatever the world brings us.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is?
Okay.
Wow.
We're not just seeking people for romantic reasons. We need to develop friendships first. And I think that's really one of the problems that we have today, is that people are getting into relationships without even checking out the house. The houses might look real good on the outside, but the inside, there's holes in the walls. It's going to fall through. The windows are not, I just went down a bunch. Let me get back on track. So the first thing we want to look for is empathy. Does this brother, does this sister have some empathy? See, empathy is one of the clear signs of emotional and spiritual maturity. And when a person lacks empathy, they're usually self-centered, dismissive, and emotionally unavailable. And I'm not saying that this person has to be an expert with empathy, right? Because empathy is something that you develop over time. It's a skill. It's like a muscle. You have to strengthen that thing, right? You have to work it out in order to really practice it. So what I am saying though, is that if this person can't genuinely care about your feelings or your perspective, right? They have no ability to see things through your lenses, then that relationship will most likely be one-sided. So this is what it looks like when someone lacks empathy. Imagine you've had a rough week at work. You have been stressed out. You are emotionally drained, and you finally open up to your friend about everything that's been going on. Instead of offering support, they just brush it off, right? They say something like, "You'll be all right. You'll be fine." But then without skipping a beat, they start talking about their own problems, and they completely ignore your feelings. See, a friend who lacks empathy won't take the time to truly listen to you. They won't take the time to acknowledge your pain. So instead, they minimize your feelings and they make everything about themselves. Now, over time, this can leave you feeling unseen and unheard. Who wants a relationship like that? Not I. Major red flag. In 2 Timothy chapter 3, Paul reminds us that in the last days, men will be lovers of themselves. See, a person who lacks empathy, they only care about things that affect them directly. But we know in Romans 12:15, we should be rejoicing with those who rejoice, mourning with those who mourn, because a healthy person knows how to connect emotionally. Now, how do we test the spirit? How do we test if someone has empathy or not? One way to check is to share something vulnerable. How do they respond to what you're saying? Do they listen to you? Do they respond with care? Or do they dismiss and redirect the conversation to themselves? This is one true way to check the fruit of empathy. The second thing we want to inspect is how do they treat other people, especially those who can't do nothing for them. See, a person's true character is revealed in how they treat those who hold no power over them. I'm talking waiters, customer service representatives, strangers, family members, and how do they treat animals? See, someone who's kind in public, but they're cruel in private, they're usually wearing a mask. They're probably wearing a mask. See, a person who respects only those they need, this is a transactional person, not a relational person. So if they are rude, impatient, or condescending to other people, that attitude will eventually be directed at you. Watch how they treat the servers. Watch how they treat the janitors. Watch how they talk about other employees. Do they talk badly about people behind their backs? Do they gossip? Because a person who likes to gossip about other people is eventually going to gossip about you. Do they lack gratitude? Do they show up moody every day? Is it always like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde? One day you're up, one day you're down. Like, this your friend, right? This is your friend that you are inspecting. Is this a true friend? Do you feel like this would be a person that is going to add value in your life? Right? Matthew 7:12 says, so in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. And if this person does not live by this, my love, my friend, it is a red flag. Run. So the third thing we want to look for is, what does this person do when they see a need? Do they respond with action, or do they walk on by? Because generosity isn't just about money. It's about the heart's willingness to care for other people. See, when a person sees a need, their response tells you whether or not they're selfish or selfless. So in relationships, it requires serving each other. So a selfish person will drain you, but a generous-hearted person will pour into you. When someone only helps when it's a benefit for them, it's not giving agape, it's giving manipulation. Here are some ways that it shows up. Does this person step in to help, or do they ignore it? Do they give joyfully, or do they make excuses? And I'm not talking about financially, y'all. I'm not just talking about financially. I'm talking about, do they give in the church? Do they serve in the church? Do they give their time to serve? Do they give their time to go across the street and get the groceries from the lady across the street? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you treat your neighbor? That's what I'm talking about. How are you giving to those around you? James chapter 2 verses 15 through 17 says, suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to them, go in peace, keep warm and well fed, but there's nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? See, love is action. It's not just words. So when you're inspecting the fruit of this person, what do they do in the small moments? Are they quick to help? Are they quick to encourage or support? Are they quick to pray for somebody? Or do they turn a blind eye until it benefits them? Now, this should have probably been number one, but the fourth thing that we want to inspect is, how is their relationship with God? Because y'all, spiritual alignment matters. See, it's easy for someone to say that they love God, but that doesn't mean they actually walk with Him. Y'all, words are cheap, but true, authentic faith is revealed through actions. Spiritual alignment is so important when it comes to relationships, because whoever has this person's ear has their destiny. Whoever has their ear shapes their decisions. Whoever has their ear shapes their values. And whoever has their ear will influence how they treat other people, including you. So how do we inspect this, right? How do we inspect the fruit? The question is do they have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? For those of you who've been walking with the true and living God, you know that a real relationship with God isn't just about going to church on Sunday. It's not about quoting a few Bible verses. It's about your daily walk with Him. Does this person seek the Lord in prayer? Does this person study His word? Do they strive to grow spiritually? Do they apply biblical principles? Like, these are the things that we should be looking for. Because see, when someone is truly connected to Christ, it's going to smell like it. It's going to show up in their character. It's going to show up in how they love other people, how they forgive their enemies, and how they serve their community. See, their relationship with God won't be just something that they talk about. It's going to be evident in their lifestyle. It's going to be evident in how they show up and treat other people. Jesus said you will know them by their fruit. So if someone claims to love God, but they consistently display no evidence of His presence in their life, that is a major red flag. If you don't see the fruit of the Spirit, okay, if you don't see love, if you don't see joy, if you don't see peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, these are the fruit. If there is no fruit, there is no real transformation. And don't get me wrong, a spiritually aligned person isn't perfect, but they're going to be growing in Christ, okay? So if you don't see it, it's time to go left. Move on, boo. That ain't the one. Our fifth and final fruit of inspection is respect. Does this person truly respect and value you? Y'all, honor should be mutual. Respect is not something that you should ever have to beg for. The way that people treat you in private and in public reveals their true heart towards you. So what do we need to look for? What do we need to inspect? We need to inspect how this person treats you when nobody's watching. Anybody could put on a show, okay? We live in the last days. People are wearing masks. How does this person, this potential partner, this potential friend treat you when the spotlight is off? See, respect is clearly seen when nobody's looking. Like, how do they act behind closed doors when there's no audience to impress? Are they kind? Are they patient? Are they thoughtful? Do they listen to you? Do they listen to your needs? Do they show empathy, right? Are they only interested in getting their own way? Do they take the time to acknowledge you and show you appreciation, even for the small things? We need to be looking for actions that reflect this admiration and respect. Because when a person treats you well in private, it's a clear indicator that their respect for you is authentic. So here's some ways that a person shows you that they don't value you. They're dismissive. If they consistently disregard your thoughts, your feelings, or your contributions, it shows that they don't value you. This might look like ignoring your input, belittling your ideas, or invalidating your emotions. It shows up in controlling behavior. Does this person try to dictate your choices? Do they limit your freedom? Do they manipulate your situations to their advantage? Y'all, respect is about partnership, not control. It's about appreciation, not taking somebody for granted. See, respect involves valuing each other's time, energy, and contributions. It's a partnership where both people feel valued, supported, and encouraged. All right, listen, the enemy comes as an angel of light, but we are no longer blind. Okay, after today, we got 5 things that we need to look for, 5 things that we need to inspect. We are fruit inspectors. And in this season, we refuse to settle for anything less than what God has for us. So if this video spoke to you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share with somebody who you know needs to hear this. All right, guys, I love you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.